Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing travel rules associated with coming into Thailand, which right now, anybody who has been dealing with trying to travel into Thailand, some of our clients who have had us assist them, you've got to deal with Thailand Pass, possibly, insurance. Depending on the visa you're getting, even more insurance. There's a lot of documentation. There's a lot of hoops to jump through just to come to Thailand. And in most cases, people want to come to Thailand for vacation. I keep thinking of that film, The Fifth Element, where they go to Floston Paradise. It's basically a planet that's just one giant resort. And then they have like a spaceship that's like a cruise ship that's spinning around it. I just remember that. And when you came off, it was just paradise. It just looked great, And that's what people want when they come to Thailand. They're not looking for an experience with the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, for those who are unaware of sort of American colloquialisms. But yeah, they're not interested in dealing with this massive bureaucracy just to get in the country and sort of be poked and pinched and prodded on their way in. I don't see why, it's kind of a classic situation where, to quote the late President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, government isn't the solution to our problems, government is the problem. And that's a little bit off base insofar as, yes, there are certain things government does well. And at the beginning of this, when Thailand imposed quarantine, they weren't sure what this was. I'll be the first to admit, I thought it was the right thing to do in that moment. The other thing I will say, and looking back on it, I keep saying this over and over, many other countries use the word quarantine. Thailand, to the best of my knowledge, was one of the few countries that did a real quarantine. They shut out their own citizens from coming back because, these things don't follow nationality. It's a quarantine is you shut down, you seal it off. And that's what they did. And I thought if you're going to do it, that's the right way to do it. In America, they kept using the term quarantine, but that isn't what they were doing. They were letting in many people that were coming from places that had already confirmed to have, this issue in those jurisdictions. So the point of this video, though, is we're seeing a lot of other countries here in Southeast Asia sort of begin to open up. And I'm doing other videos contemporaneously with this one. They'll be rolling out where we compare other countries in the region to Thailand itself. But I kind of wanted to make this one as sort of a preface and basically say, look, yeah, I think Thailand really needs to look at changing up the entry protocols and just really all the mass bureaucracy associated with entering the country in any context and really rethink this because, look, economically, we need to turn this thing around. I've already done videos where I've talked about how 20% of overall GDP was based on tourism prior to Q1 of 2020. And after that, it's gone down to as low as like almost 2%. So that's a 90% loss of 20% of your overall GDP. That's like having your guts kicked out as a country economically. We need it whatever we can get. It's time to move on, in my opinion. It's time to move on and look at this thing for what it is and start making some more reasonable decisions and letting people in and stop being, again, my opinion, just overly hysterical about this thing, especially in light of the fact they're revising the fatality numbers downwards, and we're seeing that the current iteration of this is, quite frankly, not the deadly thing that it once was, if it, comparatively, I'll put it that way. So, again, maybe it's time for Thailand to seriously consider whether or not these policies are making it substantially uncompetitive in the tourism market.